super, super. They say I'm super, super. They all go crazy when I come in with that super flow. They say I'm super, super. They say I'm super, super. I just get right to the bag, the haters are mad, yeah. Where you want me to stop it at?
That'd be a verse.
Huh?
Right in the middle of your verse, somewhere. So it doesn't matter. The super flow.
You're now tuned to episode number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of the Love First podcast. Man, we want to thank you guys for being here with us for 8 amazing episodes. Well, 7 amazing, but this is our 8th, and it's going to be amazing. So we're going to keep the amazingness going. We want to thank you guys for all y'all support. Remember, every Wednesday at 3 p.m., you can catch us live on Facebook and live on YouTube. After 24 hours, the video's not going to be on Facebook. It's only going to be on YouTube, so you can still see it there. But just so y'all get a little snippet on your social media, you know what I'm saying? We got you in there. But make sure you hit that notification bell. Make sure y'all subscribe.
Facts.
You know what I'm talking about? Let's actually get into a little prayer before we even catch up on things, because we've been forgetting that lately. So we want to thank you, God, in Jesus' name, for allowing us to be able to get your word out and the message how you want us to do and be successful, motivate and inspire your people, and bring unity, togetherness, and success. In Jesus' name, we say this in our love as we thank you. Yes.
Amen.
Yes. Wraith, man. Before we even get into it, man, what's been going on with you, man? What's up? What's new? You know, all that good stuff.
It's funny because every time you ask me, it's like the same.
Same stuff. He just don't want to let y'all really know what's going on because he got stuff in the works. You're not gonna share Lil Nun episode 8, man? Not gonna share Lil Nun?
Just know, I'm making a lot of music.
A lot of music is happening. It's happening. The group and the solo stuff. He working. He cooking.
You feel me?
Yes. And nobody has to know. The single is out right now. It's on radio. It's in Miami. It's in North Carolina. It's going down. So is Smile. So make sure y'all go to y'all radio station's request. Nobody has to know. Request Smile. And obviously you can download it on streaming sites. And if you like it and you really want to support, go to iTunes and buy it for just 99 cents. That's all it is.
$1.
Just $1? Just $1.
It's $1.
So there has been a lot of stuff going on that we do want to talk about. We want to address. We got a couple videos to review and react to. We like to have fun, but some of the content is actually some serious stuff we want to address too. But you know, we have fun too out here. So one of the main things that was kind of brought to our attention that was really unsettling was Nick Cannon, man. So kind of tell us what Nick Cannon.
My man.
Brother Cannon.
My brother Cannon. Got canceled for his statements.
Yes.
That he had made on a podcast.
His own podcast, his own platform.
Yeah, his own podcast that I did not know about until today, because we was filming the podcast and we brushing up on stuff because I wasn't aware, because there's so much shit been happening.
A lot, yes.
And I heard about the Nick Cannon shit because he kind of released a little statement on Facebook that I read.
Yeah.
Stating his relationship with Viacom and how he been there for 20 years. And that was kind of his main thing.
Yeah, 20 years. Yeah.
20 years with Viacom, and they kind of let him go because of the statements that he had made on the podcast. He said something along the lines of, I don't know what he said in the podcast. We was looking at it, trying to find what he said. Yeah. But every video that we found, people just reacted to it. Instead of finding the audio.
Yes.
Do you know what he said?
So I'm not saying it verbatim, but from the main message where a lot of things was going on, he was on his podcast and he was talking about melanin. He was talking about the people of melanin being the true Jews. And he was also saying that I think he might have said white people were savages somewhere in there, but I don't know exactly how I would have said. I did see clips, and like you said, sometimes it's hard to find it because it's just everyone's just
that reaction
to it.
Somebody reacted to it, and then they actually showed the audio clip, and that's what he had said. He was talking a little bit about melanin skin, and then he had talked about how some white people, they fear us because of the qualities that we have that they don't possess, and basically it was along the lines of like they're savages and things of that nature.
I mean, and my thing is like, I'm not here to say who's better or who's not, but the way Nick conducts himself, he's not. He's never came off racist to me. Like, he's always been diverse, and the jobs that he's put out, the content that he's put out. So to me, a lot of things I feel like it really kind of got blown out of proportion, right? And that comes from people not wanting to get an understanding, but just taking the words. No one's perfect. Like, you can actually say something and like, oh, that's not actually what I meant. It just delivered. It came out that way. I can't say whether it's this or that. But what I can say is we need to get to the point where let's ask them about the comments that we made before we make a statement. You know, we can't. You always feel like they feel like I'm nice and political, but I'm being honest.
One thing is crazy though is like Viacom, like they like pulled the plug on him so quick.
After 20 years, he got pulled the plug in it, and it wasn't on his platform, and that was the thing that was kind of disheartening.
Well, yeah, that.
No. What's that?
Well, he basically has said that that he's not worth much if they're willing to pull the plug on him that quick, which is kind of crazy. And it's also like, I don't know, it just seems kind of fishy. He's probably touching on things that they don't want him to necessarily talk about because of the platform that he has. Yeah. I have a feeling that's kind of the reason why they pulled the plug on him so quickly. And
he speaks on a lot of things.
Because that was a quick reaction.
Like, even the Nipsey Hussle thing, like Dr. CB, you know, he's been talking about a lot, you know, stuff with that, and they feel like there's a lot of conspiracies dealing with that, and they don't want that messages out. But Nick Cannon does expose a lot of things, you know, and absolutely. I'm not here to debate Jewish and this and the savages, but looking back at it, he's really trying to teach someone history. Like, Jews came from Egypt. Egypt is in Africa, so the original Jews are African. But you know, so I think we should get more insight before we cancel him. But just to see like someone have 20 years with a company, and we've seen literally people stay crazier and like straight up racist work. Like, it can't be no misinterpretation. They still have a job, or they might get a week suspension. He got fired from everything after working with them for 20 years.
Canceling is real right now.
It's something that he said on the podcast, a different platform.
The canceling is real.
But you know what was crazy to me? How do you feel about his apology? Because he put out an apology after the situation.
You're just going back. You're basically saying that everything that you had said in the podcast, you're throwing that all away. And that's, some of it was useful information. And you shouldn't do that to yourself. You shouldn't do that to yourself. You shouldn't go on Twitter and say the things that you said. For what? What are you apologizing for? If that's how you feel, we're living in a certain time, an era where like the sensitivity is like through the roof. Like, you can't say nothing without somebody feeling offended. And
partly, I feel like that's why he kind of apologized, right? Because everyone's offended. I think he more is apologizing like, if you were truly hurt by these statements, then I wasn't trying, because they say he was anti-Semitic, right? Like, that's basically what like a Nazi is, right? Coming to it, and they're saying that's how he is. So he's saying, I don't want my words to be interpreted that way.
They called him a Nazi,
and it's crazy. You know? But honestly, I feel like he's really trying to address apologize for the fact if you took it the wrong way. I don't really think he's backtracking what he's saying, but maybe the delivery of this is not what he meant by that. You know, he's trying to drop some history, because I don't think he's really. But
that's why you have to dig deep before you just go off of what he said. Dig into what he's saying, and then make your decision based off that. Don't just react. And you know, like Viacom, and just cut him the hell off based off what he said. Understand what he's trying to say. That's the problem with the nation right now. That's why it's so divided how it is, because one side is saying this, the other side is saying that. Nobody wants to come to common ground. And you know, oh, well, let me see how you really feel about this.
Mm-hmm.
Well, why do you feel about this? Nobody wants to ask questions. Everybody just wants to react instead of asking questions.
No, you know? And it's crazy because even now on Twitter, right? So he posts a few things like, I hurt an entire community and it pained me to my core. I thought it couldn't get any worse. Then I watched my own community turn on me and call me a sellout for apologizing. Good night. Enjoy Earth.
Enjoy Earth.
And then his next one, an hour later, is y'all can have this planet. I'm out.
Y'all can have this planet. I'm out.
Like, to me, I don't know. That sounds like a setup. You know, I feel like there's a lot of conspiracies out there.
Of course.
That sound crazy. Like, they're destroying his character. Nick Cannon never really seemed like a suicidal person to me. So it's just kind of weird to see this. You know what I'm saying?
You never know what goes on behind closed doors and what's going on with him and that company. Like, that's why I mentioned the fact that they pulled the plug on him so quickly. He probably knows a lot of things that shouldn't be talked about. And you know.
Yeah. No, facts, but keep your eye on that. Don't just believe everything that's out. Do your research, because that sounds a little crazy, man. But definitely that whole Nick Cannon
Cancel
situation.
Cannon!
Yeah, we canceling the whole cancel culture, so
that's
cancel that. That's facts right there. So next thing, right? There's a lot of talk about there's no more cheating in 2020.
Just know, I changed my relationship status.
What's that?
Stephanie, don't get mad at me.
Yeah, I had nothing to do with what's about to come out his mouth.
Steph, don't get mad at me.
I ain't doing Stephanie.
We in an entanglement right now.
Whoa!
Right?
Jada and Will Smith.
Just know Facebook added a new thing.
What did they add?
Entanglements.
What is an entanglement, good sir?
Relations. Basically, you in an open relationship. It's not really going too good with your spouse right now. Y'all take a break. You got somebody on the side.
On the side.
Pleasing you only. You don't really give a fuck about their pleasures. You only care about yours. Isn't that right, Jada?
Entanglement.
Entanglement?
Well, you can't forget this. I feel like this is an important part of entanglement, though, right? Entanglement is not only messing with that person, but it's when that side person comes out.
Oh yeah.
With this message,
August!
And then it becomes an entanglement. So it takes a few to create an entanglement.
That's a very bad situation to be.
A group of 3 or more.
a group of I like that. A group of 3 or more is creating entanglement.
A group of 3 or more.
We gotta add that to the Urban Dictionary. Group of 3 or more entanglement.
Are in your party?
Facts.
Now entangled.
But it really is a crazy situation. Before we even, because we're gonna dive into the video and actually react, you know what I mean, to a few things. Yeah. But as far as the open relationship thing, right? How do you feel about open relationships, open marriages, relationships?
Well, based on how I was raised, it's a dub. Open relationships are a dub. Stephanie,
super dub.
I was just kidding about the entanglement.
Real look.
I was just joking.
If he's not alive next podcast, it's because she didn't hear that I was just kidding part. He should have said that right.
It's a joke. It's a joke. But all seriousness though, like that whole thing was just messed up from the start.
Yeah.
Like open marriage, so many personalities and emotions.
I don't get what's the purpose of getting married to have an open marriage. Why not just be?
I don't know.
Like
if they was here,
if
Will and Jada was here right now, I would ask them that question.
Yeah,
because what transpired on that little table talk.
Oh, we gotta watch the video. So don't say anything. Let's bring up the video. Yeah, it's getting crazy.
Now this is becoming a react video.
Reactions
taking place.
Wraith and the Don reacts. Let's do it.
We're gonna pull this up. Yeah. Display.
Entanglements, man.
Entanglements.
I want no parts of the entanglements. I would just stay single.
Now Black Twitter has claimed
Black Twitter.
business.
During the 12-minute Red
Hold on, wait, pause
episode,
it.
Jada said,
Rewind that. He said Black Twitter has made it their business.
Yeah, Black Twitter.
I hate when people.
has claimed it.
I hate when people say has made it their business. It's already out in the air. People are going to react to it. Y'all should have kept it enclosed.
Now it's true.
It's kind of what happens.
Now that it's out in the air, I hate when people be like, y'all need to mind your business. No, it's in the air. People are going to react to it. Whether you like it or not. If you don't want people to react to it, keep it between y'all. Period. Continue.
Stop the entanglement.
But now Black Twitter has claimed it as their business.
During the 12-minute Red Table Talk episode, Jada sat down with Will to explain how
Got the
she
black
met
and white
August
going on right
4.5 years ago. But the friendship didn't turn into something more until
The reaction of the
Yo, look at this man's face.
You and I were going through a very difficult time.
Yeah.
And we decided.
I was done with your ass.
Yeah, you kicked me to
I
the
was
curb.
done with you.
Yeah.
Pause.
So, actually, which is kind of crazy, because that leads me to believe there was a bigger situation worse than this situation that
This is
prompted
the-
that situation.
This is the thing though. This situation got bigger. This is the
Well, they made it seem like this was the smaller part. The bigger
Yeah.
thing was what brought out this small thing.
Sounds like there was a payoff.
Ew.
I don't know.
It's Will, if you was done with her, you should have never took her back.
Like you paid her to stay there, mess up his image.
Like,
Marriages have that, though. Marriages have that.
Yeah, we broke up.
And then what did you do, Jada?
Well, I think from there, as time went on, I got into a different kind of entanglement.
A different kind.
Yes, we know entanglement is vague as hell, but thankfully, Will pressed her to be more clear.
An entanglement?
Yes. Yes.
A relationship?
Yes, it was a relationship. Absolutely.
We also got clarity on the misconception that Will gave August permission to sleep with his wife.
The only person that could give permission in that particular
Yeah.
circumstance is myself.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. But what August was probably trying to communicate.
pause it.
Hold on, I want to hear this last
Let's
one.
see how he would perceive it as permission because we were separated amicably.
No, yeah, y'all separated, but y'all still fucking married.
Married, yeah.
Like,
And the thing is, to me, like, if you're still married, right, so avoid the entanglement. But this is just in general, right? Because they have their own relationship of what it is, but why not wait till you're not married? And then you avoid, because obviously they end up getting back together.
oh yeah.
Well, this could have been avoided if you're not doing this while you're married. So just a major key to throw out there.
I think we spoke about it off air. Not about this video, but about like the whole situation. I think Will's mad about it because he didn't want it to go public. He's expressing these emotions because he didn't want it to go public. He wanted to keep this to themselves. But August, sparked it. And then they had no choice but to talk about it because that's all people are going to ask them. Pretty sure if they go on interviews and things of that nature, somebody's gonna have the balls to ask them about that situation. So, but I think that's the real reason.
Yeah, he's
really
upset.
upset.
Because he's more of a private person. Because honestly, like it's been going around for over 5-10 years. Like that they do have an open marriage and relationship and stuff like that. So this type of things have been happening, but he's been private. So actually bringing this to
Yo,
public
look where
eye.
you paused it at too.
Yeah,
Look at that look.
it really describes his feeling of bringing this to the public in the forefront and even have to be here while this is being addressed.
Hi.
Taking a pay cut, she messing up the brand.
Entanglements.
I think he also wanted to make it clear that he's not a homewrecker.
Now, if you're like us, you're probably wondering why August? Well, we'll let Jada explain.
I just wanted to feel good. It had been so long since I felt good. And it it was really a joy to just help heal somebody.
Eventually, August broke things off, and they haven't really talked since. And the Smiths claim
they say August broke things off.
We got it.
Did they say August broke things off?
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, so honestly, one of the biggest things that were
He got mesmerized by the kitty.
So honestly, one of the biggest things that really kind of disturbed me at the end was them cheering in the end. It was kind of like.
Oh yeah, wait for them to get to this. What they said? Oh yeah, there we go.
Yeah, right there. What you got?
Yeah, play that.
We ride together.
We die together.
Bad marriage for life.
And they're laughing about a bad marriage.
So to me, that was kind of crazy because they have a lot of influence out there, right? And it's I understand, like, you can do what you want to do in your own personal life, but she does the red table where it's supposed to be motivation and inspiring people and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying?
It's like, you know how many people look up to y'all, and that's what y'all gonna put at the end of that is like bad marriage for life. Like, no, that is unhealthy.
It's about money.
No, I mean, so, but to even kind of give up the image like bad marriage, ride to it to the end, right? Nah, that's not what marriage is supposed to be at all, right? It's supposed to actually bring you joy. That's supposed to be the person that brings you peace.
Oh, yeah.
You're supposed to find happiness. Otherwise, maybe it's time to not be together. But my thing is, like, I'm not going to judge what somebody does in their own life. That's not my thing to do. But the influence and message that you're kind of giving out to the people is, I thought that was out of character for them, but it happened, so it's surprising. You know what I'm saying? So that type of message.
It's just ridiculous. That whole situation is just ridiculous. It's just like, what do y'all right minds would think that it's okay to say bad marriage for life?
I mean, they thought it was a cool play on like the Bad Boys thing, but
no, it's not a cool play. It's not a cool play.
That
entanglement is not a cool play.
A lot of people, they go rock with that statement.
That definitely be part serious.
Right.
Now we're gonna break this up. We're gonna die together.
So we have another topic, right? And this topic, you've actually kind of went through your own experience. So before we get into this, tell us your own experience and what you went through.
What you talking about with this?
Yeah, and just when you spoke on this type of topic, right? You recalled the name and certain things like that. Let us know that backstory.
About the whole coon thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. So basically, like, I got into it with a person of my skin color on Facebook. I didn't really agree with everything that they had said involving the Black Lives Matter movement, and they called me a coon. So,
and what did you say that made them call you that? Like, what didn't you agree with in the Black Lives Matter movement?
I was talking about the black on black crime and how addressing that aspect as well as the police brutality, and it can't just be about addressing the police brutality, but also addressing the fact that we are killing each other too. And they didn't want to hear that because I brought up the Chicago situation. I brought up the 3-year-old that got gunned down by another black person that didn't care about that 3-year-old.
Yeah.
You know, even though the bullet wasn't meant for the 3-year-old, it was meant for the dad, but it still killed the 3-year-old. So the same skin color as you.
Let's even be clear. So no opinions, just straight facts.
Yeah.
The numbers are, black people are killing each other more than cops are killing us. Right.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean don't address what's happening with the cops because we need to. That shouldn't happen. They're supposed to protect us.
Definitely not.
But there's a larger issue of more of us dying from something that we need to get together. One, we need unity with ourselves, but immediately we need to stop killing each other.
There isn't enough unity. There's only unity when a cop kills us. It's not really unity when we're doing the damage to each other.
Or it's not clear, right?
Yeah.
We don't feel and see the clear unity, and it's something that we need to be consistent with. Now, one of the things I see is like when you support a group, what I'm seeing nowadays is that people bandwagon it to the end. Like, you can't say nothing's wrong. Once you decide you support something, you can't say nothing's wrong. Listen, I support him to the end. He support me. He will tell me, look, you could do that better on the song. You could do this better on the song. You could do this better on the podcast. You could do this better on the podcast. That's how you get it better. But you can't act like because you support someone, you have to pretend they're perfect. No, you have to check things to get that person better, especially if they're in a position of power.
Also involves accountability. which is what
100%.
which is what we're lacking.
100%.
Lack of accountability.
All right. So there's a video out with Terry Crews and John Lemon, and it's kind of addressing Terry Crews kind of getting a lot of backlash over a statement that he said regarding Black Lives Matter, and him kind of speaking on something. So let's dive in there.
See what he's talking about.
We must ensure Black Lives Matter doesn't morph into Black Lives Better. Here's how he explained it. Are all white people bad? No. Are all black people good? No. Knowing this reality, I stand on my decision to unite with good people, no matter the race, creed, or ideology. Given the number of threats against this decision, I also decide to die on this hill. Terry Crews joins me now. Terry, man, you stepped in it. You say that you're willing to... You say you're willing to die on this hill. You're taking a lot of people.
Terry Crews.
And why it's so important for you to die on this hill.
Well, again, I wanted to bring up the fact that, there are some very, very, militant type forces in Black Lives Matter. And what I was issuing was a warning. It's one of those things where I've been a part of different groups, I've been a part of different things, and you see how extremes can really can go far and can go wild. And then when you issue a warning, and when a warning is seen as detrimental to the movement, how can you ever have checks and balances?
So I want to stop it right there, right? So one, how they started off with the tweet, I don't know. I feel like the energy of the reporter was trying to come out and make him look crazy, right?
Yeah.
Now, how do you feel about the tweet? Speak on the tweet before we even get to the last statement.
Is there any way you can go like
bring it right back
to the tweet?
Exact words of the tweet.
Let's see. He's definitely playing both sides.
Mm-hmm.
And, and they don't like that.
Mm-hmm. So he's like, are all white people bad? No. Are all black people good? No. Knowing this reality, I stand on my decision to unite with good people no matter the race, creed, or ideology. Given the number of threats against this decision, I also decide to die on this hill.
What does he mean by also decide to die on this hill?
Well, it sounds like he's like, I know you're going to cancel me or come for me, and I'm willing to take whatever you're saying. So does he sound like...
They gonna cancel that nigga!
So what side does he sound like he's on? Or you said it feels like he's on both sides?
I feel like he's playing both sides.
He's playing both sides? I feel like it does seem anti-Black Lives Matters, right?
Of course.
And not... Because the phrase and the movement almost become so synonymous. We have to remember, like, a movement is not just a phrase, right? A movement can't accomplish everything that comes with Black Lives Matters because there's a million different levels.
We talked about this on other podcast episodes. Like, the movement got to be a little bit more than what's going on right now. Mm-hmm. It got to have significant meaning.
Yeah. And to me, it seems like it almost feels neutral, but it does seem like a warning for Black Lives Matters. Like, let's unite with good people now, no matter the race, creed, or ideology. I personally...
He's siding with the whites!
But I personally feel Black Lives Matters doesn't mean just black people unite. I think it means all races unite to address this issue that black people are going through right now as a priority. And like I said, that becomes with more research. Yeah. Who knows if that could be true or not, but that's my perception.
Wasn't there another tweet too? Didn't he tweet something else?
I think that's the only one they just talked about now.
No, they just don't want us united.
Of course.
And they're using
because he said black
to downplay.
He said He said let's make sure that it's Black Lives Matter, not Black Lives Are Better.
Yeah.
Downplay the black movement.
Yeah.
Downplay the role of a black man in America by sending another black man.
But also, see, but I do challenge that because I do also feel like a lot of white people, I'm not going to say a lot, but there are some of other races, because not just white, but I've seen, after asking questions, we're involved in different groups, they feel like Black Lives Matter is anti every other race. I don't understand how they feel that way, but they do.
We already discussed that. Like,
just playing advocate, I feel like he could be potentially letting other people know, look, we're not trying to say Black lives are better. We're just saying they matter.
I think he's giving them ammo for people that are against the Black Lives Matter.
He's giving them ammo?
I think that they're using other things to downplay this movement. So by saying all lives matter, you're taking focus off of Black lives.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're giving him ammo.
A black man to do that.
Yeah, they're giving him ammo.
So let's dive in. Let's see what else he's talking about.
Well, he's giving them ammo.
And when you have the leaders of the Black Lives Movement who are now talking about, if we don't get our demands, we're going to burn it down. Other black people who are talking about working with other whites and other races, they're being viewed as sellouts or called Uncle Toms.
Hold on, so my thing too, and this goes for all the groups that this is getting posted to, Black Lives Matter and all other groups. I haven't seen this thing. If you see any videos where the leaders are specifically talking about if we don't get this demand, we're burning this down, I haven't personally seen that. Tag me, tag us, tag it in the comments to see that, because as far as my knowledge, that hasn't existed. If that's out there, I would like to see.
You start to understand that you are now, being controlled. You're not being treated as love. You're actually being controlled. Someone wants to control the narrative. And I viewed it as a very, very dangerous self-righteousness that was developing that really viewed themselves as better. It was almost a supremacist movement.
Let me jump
where
in.
They viewed
Here comes the cutoff. My son is getting pissed off.
Okay.
John is getting pissed off.
That you said. You think Black Lives Matter is? You said it's a.
course
think
not.
It's an extreme movement because it's not part of the.
No, but this is the thing. It's a great mantra. It's a true mantra. Black lives do matter. But when you're talking about an organization, you're talking about the leaders. You're talking about the people who are responsible.
Okay, I got you. So let me. Sherry, you realize that even during the civil rights movement, that Dr. King was seen as extreme. That movement was seen as extreme. People who don't want to make change. Movements are seen as extreme. You can paint them easily as an extreme when they are not.
This is very true, but also when you talk about MLK, you talk about Nelson Mandela, and even Malcolm X, they all realized that you had to have a non-racial component to these kind of movements, or there will be resentment. There will be get back. There will be, one of these people will tend to, listen, I don't want to move from one oppressor to the next. And one thing is
who's the next oppressor? Who's the next oppressor?
Oh, when I describe this, when you look at the city of Chicago, there are 9 children who died by gun violence, by black-on-black gun violence, from June 20th all the way to today. And you're talking about, even with the Atlanta child murders, there were 28 kids who died in 2 years. You're talking about a month. And you have 9 black kids, and the Black Lives Matter movement has said nothing about this.
What does that have to do with equality, though, Terry? I don't understand what that has to do with equality, because listen, there's crime. There are people in those communities those people aren't just being nonchalant about gun violence. I live in Chicago. There are many people who are working in those communities to try to get rid of the gun violence. The gun culture in this country is prevalent, but I don't understand what that has to do with a movement that's for equality for black people.
All right, so how do you feel about that statement of what Terry Crews was addressing, and his response about, well, what does that have to do with equality for black people?
I mean, well, he did bring up the fact about the gun violence in Chicago, which is, talk about it every episode. It just gets worse and worse. And it's not coming from cops. The gun violence is not coming from the cops. So as far as him addressing the gun violence that's happening in Chicago, he's on the money with that. But as far as I wanted to know what he was gonna talk about as far as oppressors, because it sounded like he was about to say that black people are gonna be the new oppressors. And if he would have said that, that would have been crazy.
Don't want y'all fucking up there.
He would have got crucified if he would have said black people are the new oppressors.
Oh no.
not mutually exclusive that you care about equality for black people, that somehow you're going to stop random violence or, unfortunately, kids from being shot. It just seems like...
It's not unfortunate. Kids should not be getting shot. Mm-hmm. That's not unfortunate.
Yeah.
Kids should not be getting shot.
So do you feel like...
a 3-year-old should not be getting shot.
So do you feel like this is something that Black Lives Matter should be addressing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Because I know to his point, what a lot of people say, well, if you feel like it needs to be addressed, be a leader because they're already addressing this. So my only take on that, right, and being in the Black Lives Matter group, and I want to be able to have conversations with the leaders, tag the leaders, let's sit down with the leaders. We want to get the leaders on the podcast and even bring more clarity to the message, because I feel like there is a lack of clarity. You know, even as a person doing research, I continuously am still diving in. More clarity is needed, but my question is, how if we just address the equality factor, right? Other races respecting us, right? Respecting the fact that our lives matter and we shouldn't be killed, right? Something as small as that. The first step, what I see is so synonymous and it goes together, is making sure we respect each other and we respect ourselves, right? As a people, we went through a lot of mind stuff, right?
My thing is like, Rayshard Brooks got killed by a white cop, and they burned down that Wendy's the same night. So when these kids are dying, why, like, y'all want to burn things down when a white cop does something, but when it's not a white person doing something, y'all don't want to do nothing about it. It's just regular. It's just unfortunate. Like he just said, it's unfortunate.
And we're not going to say they're not doing nothing about it, but we're not seeing the same type of energy. That's what we can say. Because we can say nothing's being done, but not enough is being done, and we're not seeing the same type of energy.
Bro, that 3-year-old should have never died, bro.
100%.
Period.
100%. I mean, but the biggest way to overcome that is we do gotta unite and stand together. Like, we have to respect each other and themselves, so other people will. Like, whether you want to or not, there's certain things you have to respect. Like, if a military is coming through your thing and you're 2 people in a village, whether you like the military or not, you gotta respect what they're coming with. If we say
all Black Lives Matter, and what's happened is that because I even challenged it, because I even questioned and warned people,
Terry,
I became like,
Someone is getting pissed.
You're a high-profile person. You're writing things out there. You know you're going to get backlash. You know people are going to respond to what you're saying on Twitter. So I don't think you should be surprised by that. I have a skin as tough as an armadillo because of what I do, and I think maybe you should adapt that.
some shots up.
Here's what I have to say. The Black Lives Matter movement was started because it was talking about police brutality. If you want an all Black Lives Matter movement that talks about gun violence in communities, including, black communities, then start that movement with that name. But that's not what Black Lives Matter is about. It's not an all-encompassing. So if you're talking about, if someone started a movement that said, cancer matters, and then someone comes in and says, why aren't you talking about HIV? It's not the same thing. We're talking about cancer. So the Black Lives Matter movement is about police brutality and injustice in that manner.
So everyone in the Black Lives Matter group, I have a question. I want y'all to comment below. Is that what is that what Black Lives Matter stands for? Is that the main message? And then my question to you is, with the Black Lives Matter movement, is your perception that all Black Lives Matters in the movement, or it's not? What is your perception of that?
It should be all Black Lives Matter and not just the forms of police brutality.
No, I mean, honestly, I personally...
According to Don, is not.
According to Don, it's not, but he's also not the Black Lives Matters leaders, not, So that's why my question is that what it is? Because I do feel like Black Lives Matter, we do need to start with ourselves, right? Before we get any respect from anyone else or anybody else, we need to get unity and empower each other, right? So we can grow and other people want to involve and support that. Now, if that's not what Black Lives Matters is about, we do need a group about that. And maybe we do need to push to start something on that. But it would be nice to know, is Black Lives Matters about that? Is that something that we can actually use this group to help push and get through? Or is that not the focus of Black Lives Matter? So that's an important question I have. Let us know in the comment section below what you think, even about the whole Terry Crews situation. Is he hurting the cause or is he helping the cause? Let us know your thoughts on that situation. Anything they should be looking out for before we get to
Nobody has to know. Available on all platforms.
All platforms. On
iTunes for $1.
For $1.
You don't got $1?
It's only 99 cents.
All these unemployment checks y'all niggas is getting.
If you employed, you can pay for it. If you're not,
There's some of that stimulus.
Right.
Spend some of that stimulus. You got some free money.
$1,200. Spend $1.
So just for $1, nobody has to know. Also, Smile. Also, the Therapy album. I appreciate if you download and buy that album. You know, especially if you just download the whole album at once. Because one, we appreciate the support, and it's a way to get to know me. You know what I mean? Put my heart, life, feelings all into that. And you know, again, appreciate the support, and you'll love it. It's good for you. It'll change your life. It will change your life. If it doesn't change your life.
Also, YouTube. YouTube, the K to Don.
YouTube K to Don for the new episodes.
To find the previous podcast.
Yes.
Too.
If you want to find all the old episodes, we got playlists, right? Comedy, skits, music. Love First Podcast. Subscribe, find it. What else I need to follow? At The Real Wraith, make sure y'all follow him on Instagram.
And on YouTube.
YouTube, The Real Wraith.
Yep.
Let's get it. We got a Instagram for Love First too, right?
Yeah. It's called Love First Entertainment.
Love First Entertainment. All together on Instagram. Get it for the podcast. Any videos you want us to review, any topics you want to discuss, send them our way. Tag us. Comment below. We want to hear your thoughts. A lot of people, you guys are joining the podcast and always message us and stuff like that. Throw some comments in there. Let's get conversations going on and let's learn, let's grow, let's understand. Alright? Nah, I was trying to wonder again. Yeah, Love First Podcast. I was gonna ask you maybe change the Love First Podcast. Yes, Love First Podcast on Instagram, on Facebook. It's at Love First Entertainment presents Love First Podcast. But you can just type in Love First Podcast and we'll pop up on all of that. Or you can Google it. We're on Google now too. So. Love First Podcast. Right here. When you can love first. Love First Podcast. Here.
So can we get together, stop the hurting right now? It's getting too political now. If you had enough of it, let's start with the blackouts and the non-support and push focuses on businesses we should support. Shouldn't have to force to get together like community. Only get together the eulogies. We killing ourselves, fatality. Ain't no actuality. We killing ourselves more than police do. We need to come together as a people. We gotta show love first like our podcast.